Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sense Financial Macro and Technical Analysis. Today, we are facing a tense and exciting moment. We are talking about the US government reopen. I looked at it yesterday. Actually, the signs were already there 2 days ago. Trump said it is about time. It might pass by the 12th. It is getting intense. What about food-related sector stocks? It is a case of the mother's honor increases as her son's position rises. For China shares, once you miss the opportunity, you won't find another one. Then we have South Korea after the martial law crisis. Let's take a look. This is US stocks. They are about to open the doors. It broke through once here. If the government reopens, actually ignore yesterday's low point, because there is a gap here. If it is truly positive news, it won't fill the gap. If the gap fills, treat it as all the positive factors have been priced in. Priced in, of course. Yesterday's low is also a short-term level. Here is how we view the rest. Taiwan stocks, TAIEX. Let's look at Bitcoin first. Bitcoin, the high win rate strategy for small swing trading. It is very easy to trade. Buy the breakout, take 2%. That is easily over $2,000. Easy $2,000. This is a W bottom pattern satisfaction. The upper shadow is a bit weak. The fear right now is, we estimate that sometimes when news breaks, volatility spikes up and down fast. Ignore the chop in the middle. Focus on the key support level. We are seeing the positive factor losing its effect, including Taiwan stocks. We mentioned Taiwan stocks rallied. It hit the key line. I keep telling you short-term short selling at the key line. Short it first. Short into the rally. Short in the pressure zone. First point yesterday, we said the best way is to wait for the chart pattern to emerge. This time, the pattern is out. It is a false breakout. Let's draw it. We have a false breakout. Now wait for the fluctuation due to news event. News volatility. It is estimated to pass. I told you Trump is nervous. He was nervous last week. We covered this in the course. He is already nervous. Okay, now look at this upper border. This box is the pressure zone, including this upper edge, this entire area. I drew the upper border here. Last time we had a line here, drawn at the high of this long bearish bar. High of the long bearish bar. And then the low point was broken. A student asked me if the low breaks, is the sell-off real? If the low breaks, treat it as a real sell-off. A real sell-off means the head is confirmed. But as I have told you, there are details. The detail implies, why did I mention later? This is a support line. You can execute short at high point, close at support. Now, provided positive news comes out. Let's assume this pattern. Just this pattern, for example. It is a false breakout now, shorted here. It hits the key line and pulls back up. First time, this is the second time. Suppose positive news is released, and it still breaks below the line. Then the head is confirmed, because once the triple top appears, we treat this as the absolute high. If this line breaks, it means our high point is confirmed. High confirmed. Just from here to here, the profit is huge. For example, we drew this at around 95 to 72, right? The profit is massive. The final crash point almost always happens on the right side of the big head. We estimate we are at this spot now, right here this time. It is quite tense and exciting. And one more thing, assume I am bearish. With this huge volume, you can also look at this. This specific false breakout. You can also use this in conjunction. Is there a 5-minute chart? The line broke here. Then you see a false breakout here, but I think there is still a chance for a rebound. Why? Because the DAX index is open now. It hasn't dropped yet. It is also staying high. See that it is staying up there. Let's draw it. It is also right at the key line. The pressure zone NP mini. It should be open now. Open flat, no drop. So relatively speaking, under these conditions, even if a false breakout has appeared, there is usually a chance for a short-term rebound. The probability is higher, assuming what we discussed. First, look at the chart pattern. What else? Assuming it hits the pressure zone we talked about, you short the index. There is another method available. We covered the index. What is the other method? What can you do? Trade so-called options. Let's look at options. Options were quite ridiculous this time. This was when it fell to, I forgot the exact point. Looking at Taiwan options week, the 2nd of November. Second week of November, week 2, that November 1 back here. I estimate when I was watching, I forget, it should be around here. 27,651. I just forgot if this was day or night session, because if it is the after hour TAIEX future, it will stay at, it stays put, won't move. But this one moves. So say 27,651. That is 27,650. Look at 27,650. Go up, say 400 points. 27,650 to 28,000 points. I am looking at the transaction price. Just yet, the money difference is huge. 163 versus 422. Whether this is right or wrong, it looked drastically different. This point out of the money by 400 points is 51 points. Here out of the money 400 points is 27,250, 240 points. From here all the way to that, 27,000. Anyway, at that time, I just couldn't pull the trigger. Assume it hits the key line. Under these circumstances, it is very hard to trade. But today it has improved. This is today's data, for example. Today is 27,750. At the money is here. Transaction price is 144 versus 137. See, it is about the same now. Just verify briefly if the prices align. Let's look at this example, say 27,400, 300 points. Each way up to 27,800. 110 points, down to 27,178 points. Even with at the money, see if both sides are equal size. This makes it easy to compare, even if these two sides are roughly equal. Same size, the spread was too wide before. So it only returned to normal today. That means, for instance, like this 27,600, say 27,800. Today's low is, today it rallied to 28,100, relatively easier to trade, 27,600. That is what I mean. Today's low was 19 points. High reached over 100. Let's look again. You will understand. Assume there is a rebound speaking of today's situation. Assume here. I don't know the positive news. It's volatility. How large the amplitude will be, we say. Suppose I plan to short 2 lots. I go buy 10 lots of puts instead. Right. Buy 10 lots of puts. We just mentioned it. Like the ones out of the money. For example, 40 points. 40 points, 10 lots. 20 lots, this one. 1 point for 20 lots should be 10 lots. It should be $1,000, $1.5, 1.5 for 10 lots. No, that is wrong. It should be $10,000. Right? If 20 lots cost 40,000, then 10 lots is 10 points is $20,000 because I often say at least trade 20 lots. 20 lots is 40,000. So 10 lots is 20,000. Just spend 20,000. Like that, if you are wrong with 20,000, being wrong means losing that 20,000. Assume if there is a rebound, the logic is the same. Say me logic, suppose I am trading the futures section. There are some doubts. I can trade this way. If I am wrong, it will definitely make you lose money. It will definitely go up or maintain at this level. The news is out too. On say the news breaks, the direction is confirmed, then I will just add a short position in futures. You can do that too. Understood many choices? Okay, if you trade here, usually I set it at the upper border, like here. From here to the pressure zone, your risk is roughly about 350 points. 350 points isn't much, less than 1.5%. It should be only around 1.3%. Look at it over 28,000 points index. 350 points is only about 1.3%. The risk is small. Compare the upside and downside. See that is why I say it is tense and exciting. It is fun like this. It tests everyone's trading ability. How do you get trading ability? You need a strategy. Do your calculations. Okay, the main index. This is important key line. The 60-minute chart. Right here, look. This sell-off volume is the largest. Here is also large here too. This line, it covers these three huge volume bars. The key point is, look after large volume sell-off. It still went up. This large volume sell-off broke down first, different from the previous times. So volume, it is all huge volume. But for example, large volume sell-off, but it rallies. Large volume sell-off pulls back but doesn't break support. That is the meaning this large volume sell-off. The pullback broke support. So here the probability of forming a top is high. Okay, similarly, Brosen can be wrong too. Just set your stop loss properly. Let me see daily chart. This is also one. This daily large volume sell-off. So it's low point from here. This is the regular hour TAIEX future. Regular hour futures, huge volume appeared in the regular hour here, right? Rising from here. This volume bar is almost the largest from here. This one below 2 bars. That is where we were buying into a rebound. That catch was beautiful. This is the place with the maximum volume. So this key line exactly marks the low of the massive volume. This line is what I talked about. The Maginot line is very important. Let's look at another thing, that main index. Take a look, foreign institutional investors shorted about 30,000 lots. It is a basic short position, not a small amount, but not yet at an attack level, and retail investors are long. Retail investors are all trying to rush in to long the market come. Let's look at that, main index daily chart. First, same place. Right here, same place, and then these volumes, these are all huge volumes. I drew this before, right? Hasn't moved. Let's look again. Extend it forward. It is all above now. All above bullish with volume is, but with volume, it cannot break the Okay, so this line is the most important key line we discussed. Of course, we won't wait for it to break. If I were trading, I wouldn't wait for this break. In the past, I would just wait for the break, the efficient trade entry point. But now we look for the relative high. Okay, first point is here. Pull this line over with this uptrend line. This one. We extend it. It crosses exactly here. They're crossed right here. So once this line breaks, I believe the probability of a breakdown is high. We said only a confirmed break counts. See it before you act looking at the daily chart. 4 bars left, 4 bars right. There is a chance to trade that. Trade this symmetry timing, okay. Pay attention to this. Take a look. As for individual stocks, look, we mentioned what happened to food-related sector stocks. The food sector, it still broke the line. It has been broken for 3 days. Here we have a concentrated volume push-up. Generally speaking, if you look at it like this, it doesn't really look like a bottom pushed up here. Looks like a bottom. Here is a false breakdown reversal. Yes, with a false breakdown reversal, there will be a rally. Because of the false breakdown reversal, there is a saying. For example, a bottom reversal normally will break above previous high. Normally breaks the previous high. It broke the high here, just missed a bit. But the breakdown point was passed. Like this one passed it with volume, but later it showed volume price divergence. So here we have a turn into bearish candle. This isn't important. Continuous push-up. Maybe you don't understand this part yet. The point is, after pushing up with these volumes, it actually broke the line. The danger is right here, the whole structure, regardless of what happened above. The danger is here because the break is confirmed. Who is breaking the line? Who pushed this volume heavyweight stock, Uni-President Enterprises? Uni-President, okay, identical to that food stock. And then this push, what is this? This is institutional investor holdings. It is dropping. Dropping is one thing. Dropping isn't the most dangerous part. As I said, look at the chart pattern. The pattern shows a broken line. On say the line breaks. Where is the resistance? The upper edge of the consolidation zone. These high-performing stocks are breaking down now. Long-term high-performing stocks. Look at LNHWA Foods. LNHWA Foods, this broke the line long ago. This is a breakdown with volume. So the entry for shorting is here. Right here, those who learn how to short would know right the breakdown short entry is here. LNHWA Foods, this was this year. We were talking about that this year, just when we were discussing the bear strike alert, false breakout during the bear strike alert. First short entry, second short entry. These food-related sector stocks, these are all food stocks. What happened yesterday, we mentioned Charo and Pokphand and that. Another one, I forgot which C. Watch yesterday's show, all of them. You must short stocks that just turned weak, like what we said yesterday. There were 2 right at the start. Look again, like MediaTek stuck with banker pass chip to retail investor breakdown. Among high price stocks, its PE ratio is relatively low, but the market tells us it has problems. See that share price break below key line. See what is the resistance, the upper edge of the consolidation zone above the line. This is Dafon Electronics. Dafon, of course I am showing you this. What is this again? This is lightning rod volume. Lightning rod volume. Here the line is broken. Yes, broken line here becomes a pressure zone. Lightning rod volume appeared before. Try to avoid stocks like this. Not necessarily something will happen, but try to avoid it. The probability of trouble is quite high. Okay, like Medigen Vaccine Biologics early in the year. Initially, stock price limit up, limit down here. But the problem is it is only one bar. It consolidated for some time. Medigen Vaccine Biologics. This is the masterpiece of collusion between the government and business. The masterpiece, I won't say which administration. You know it yourselves, this masterpiece. Fully supporting Medigen Vaccine Biologics. The result is this. See one bar after another. So in the past, I should be July last year. July 2024. At that time, I said my favorite short is Medigen Vaccine Biologics. Stocks like this, including PowerShip Semiconductor Manufacturing. What is that? Back in July last year, here, July 2024. Last year, right here, dropped heavily, 24 down to 13. It is relatively low. But this PowerShip Semiconductor Manufacturing, you are sick of this story. That Chairman Huang Chong-ren. This, what reputation is rotten? It stinks. PowerShip Semiconductor Manufacturing was played by him like that. So it is the same. Then like that, what we just mentioned, Medigen Vaccine Biologics ends up breaking the line. See all single bars one by one. This kind of stock. Be careful with this. The vaccine era is over. I don't know what is left to support, okay? That is the Taiwan stocks part. The mother's honor increases as her son's position rises. This naturally means the recent rally is about this. For example, Nanya Technology. Already 172, still surging. Mother's honor increasing is like this. Nanya Plastic Corporation holds the most. Went up again, let's draw this. The Formosa Plastics Corporation Group now seems to be the announcement of share sales for Nanya Technology, declaring Nanya Technology. This mother's honor theme. What else? Formosa Plastics Corporation. Formosa Plastics Corporation. The very last wave is rallying the Formosa Plastics Group, and this Formosa Chemicals and Fiber. We mentioned this time. The one with a better chance is Formosa Petrochemical Corp. Formosa Petrochemical Corp rose the most. Looking back here, I think its price-to-book ratio wasn't as low as the other three. Now coming back to rally what's speculating on Formosa Petrochemical Corp. Don't chase if it rose too much. You can calculate upside price target met. Let me see. Can still calculate. But this is very narrow, so count 2 waves. If big, count 1 wave. Like this type, it is a sensitive time now. For stocks like this, take profit and leave if you caught it. Calculate your target you yourself. As I said, you can set a profit-taking point. Use the 5-minute chart or hourly chart to set this profit-taking point. Just rallying these last time, I saw another one. China Petrochemical Development. Surged a few bars, then dropped. This is where the volume is. This is the same logic. Macronics International. Macronics hit a new high again. We discussed this. You can go like this wave up, exactly 3 waves. You can go after DRAM rally, rally flash memory, these recently rallying memory. Use 5-minute chart yourself. Draw on the 60-minute. Mother's honor implies rallying these. Let me see. Can use Nanya Plastic Corporation because it has the highest holding. Draw. This line, use this to judge the strong or weak trend. Okay. Next is China A shares. Once you miss the opportunity, you won't find another one. A shares are like this. Once you miss the opportunity, you won't find another one. I am not saying that it definitely won't rise. It is just what I said. For example, the SCE Composite Index. Rallying from here to here, the easiest money has been made. Whatever we traded, the success rate was very high. Profits everywhere. Stocks just kept rising, rose a lot, including after this consolidation. Another wave up from here. For example, the stocks I mentioned are decent. For instance, some stocks we mentioned are good. For example, China Tourism Group duty-free hit a new high again. It is possible. Like Laplace Renewable Energy Technology, trading Laplace really requires patience. Finally hit a new high. Mark this bottom. This one didn't make much. Sometimes you catch big winners. It was easy to make big money earlier. At this moment, say you trade Iflytech, you might lose money. See, you can lose money too. It won't be that easy to trade. Not that easy. Like this. What might you end up trading? Trading AMEC is not bad. For example, Cambricon. Small wins, small losses. My point is, it won't be as easy as before. Once you miss the opportunity, you won't find another one. So why? Why am I starting to reduce position? Not saying it definitely won't rise. But I think the easy trading period is over. Don't treat me like a god, predicting every rise perfectly. Everything rising as predicted. That is called follow the trend. Follow the trend correctly, because our last follow the trend move was in the Chinext Index and Science and Technology Innovation Board, 50 Index, like from here, and the star 50 to here, all good next. It wasn't so easy. Next we said you should trade the China SCF 50 Index. China SC 50 Index was okay later on, but now it is getting harder. What if it is hard to trade? Reduce your trading capital. Assuming you are still doing well, continue. No problem, but if your trading gets difficult and you start losing money, of course, small wins and small losses at most. Won't be a huge loss. That probability is low because our stock selection logic is like this. Mostly huge gains or small losses, just like that. But assuming your performance isn't like you and me, maybe not like before. I'm not doing great myself right now. I won't brag to you. Look at me trading duty-free, trading that AMEC investment advisory companies will definitely boost around about these things. Look how much our members made. That time has passed. Even I find it hard to trade now, if you are doing well. You are better than me. If you are like me, not doing very well, you should reduce position, right? Decrease trading capital like I. Recently, I moved some funds to a margin trading account. Of course, not to leverage up. I still, for example, one stock if I want to buy 500K. I still buy 500K. I just use margin financing to do it. Why? Because I haven't done it before. I want to try margin accounts allow securities lending. But after asking, they said the source of securities for lending is scarce, very scarce. But you have to be ready. Opportunity favors the prepared mind. I have to try first. Maybe in the future, sources will increase. I need to be in this space. Because this is different from Taiwan's calculation method is different. Results shouldn't differ much. But I just started. There is a chance. The calculation is different. We'll talk about this later. Try first if securities lending isn't available. It is fine. There are options puts to trade. Options allow buy long and buy short, okay. So as I said, once you miss the opportunity, you won't find another one. So if you are trading China A shares, you need to be discreet. Finally, we talk about that. South Korea after the martial law crisis. Let me ask quickly. Orsen's financial macro and technical analysis is at 998 episodes. Almost 1,000 episodes, okay. This is not easy for a paid program, and our fee isn't exactly low. But I think the tuition is cheap because I believe it is great value for money. That is my feeling. I don't know how you feel. So we are hitting 1,000 episodes. Very difficult doing this every day, every trading day, okay. This is looking at South Korea. Just right for a teaching moment. Not telling you to chase it now. Stock market, South Korea Kospi. Breakout point was here. May 29th, Korea had that former president issue. The martial law crisis. Don't know which idiot sent a telegram congratulating the martial law. Okay, it hasn't risen since 2021. Political reasons, politics, and then martial law. Crashed down. There was a chance here. A chance to form a bottom here. Right. It is a false breakdown reversal. Suppose you traded here. Let's not talk about the good outcome. Not the good outcome. Suppose you traded here. Once the line broke, you must set your stop loss. Then, I usually prefer the efficient trade entry point. But at that time, I was trading China shares. I was doing shares. If you studied, you should know. This is called the efficient trade entry point. Okay, this was May 28th. Look at Taiwan stocks. I saw it in Taiwan stocks. Cathay Korea Taiwan, IT Premier ETF, May 28th. Right here, it didn't break out. The ETF itself didn't break out. You have to follow. Follow the trend of the Korean stock market. Trading ETF depends on Korea. Always watch the underlying asset. Okay, here, watch your underlying asset. May 28th. This probably rose better than Taiwan stocks. $30 to $50, up $20, about 70%, around 70%, May 28th breakout. Efficient trade entry point works well. Then let's check the upside price target met. This W bottom target was hit long ago. Let's look at a big swing. Swing upside price target met. Once hit large volatility begins. Okay. So the target is met. If you trade ETFs, you can measure it yourself. You can also set a support point. Because this is another rally, let me remove this. Since it is rallying again, rally means it shouldn't break the low. That is it. Korea performed very well this time. So I'd rather buy the dip. Onan can generate excess profit by buying at the bottom. I'd rather do this. It is relatively easier to control risk. Okay, it should be tomorrow. Tomorrow, the whole news picture will be clearer. Then you can use the methods we just discussed. You can use them as reference. How to execute this strategy, it is okay if you are right. If you are wrong, You must control your risk well. Being right means making a big profit. Correct? If wrong, just control the risk. Okay, in 2 days, we will welcome the 1000th episode. For the 1000th episode, we might open up for questions. Maybe at episode 999, okay. That is it for today. Thank you, everyone. Friends who like it, please subscribe and like.